Hello everybody, welcome to Tpull's Corner. This is your host Travis, and we are actually at the final day where we cover Evergreen terms. This is day 30 of Evergreen month. We're going to have a special day 31 treat for you where we do a digital unboxing video of sorts, unwrapping of all the digital cards we've been hoarding for a month. So that's going to be live on Twitch, and then we'll record that and post it here on YouTube. But today we've chosen an interesting choice, one that we don't have a lot of samples of, but something that comes up anyway, an evergreen term called Adamant. And we got 68 cards in the deck. We've only got 8 creatures. We've got 25 lands. And most of it's geared because we need to have 3 copies of each land usually in order to make Adamant work. So it's sort of like having an extra choice card. Think of the adventure cards, right? Let me pop them up. You know, with the adventure cards, you have 2 things you can do. You have the instant or sorcery on one side, and then you have the creature on the other. Or for Kaldheim, you have a lot of dual modal cards. There's always, what Wizards has been doing for the last few years, is they've been trying to come up with mechanics and features and ways to play the game that make it more exciting, that give you more options. In the latest Strixhaven expansion, that's taken the place of providing a lot of choice cards where there's 4 different things and you get to choose 2 of them. The new version of the latest expansion, which is Adventures into Dungeons and Dragons, is entering the dungeon, giving you 3 different dungeons to choose from and all of those options. So they're all about giving you lots and lots of options. Adamant is sort of like that as well. Let's go find, we'll go through the list here till we get to the first one. Rally for the Throne. Here you can create 2 white human creature tokens. This is good as an instant, especially when you're going up against red aggro decks and the 1/1 Scoot Swarm decks, to just surprise them and take out a couple of 1/1s. Now, if you have the Adamant feature down at the bottom, it says, if at least 3 white mana was spent to cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each creature you control. So this is good to save until you've got like 5 or 6 creatures down on the field, and then you add these 2 to them, and suddenly you're getting 7 or 8 life gain. That's not always possible. Sometimes you have to spend it on the 3rd turn. Maybe you don't even have all of the mana. But it's giving you the choice. If you want to devote that much mana and you have it, you can get a little something extra out of the spell. This is one of those things where you have to make a choice, right? It's similar with the boasting from Kaldheim. Sometimes you don't have enough mana to spend it all on all of the options. It's the same thing with the kicker cards, right? We covered Kicked a few days ago. You have to make the decision, are you going to choose the lesser spell now because it's imperative and imminent and you need it, or can you afford to hold on to that card for longer and pay the exact cost that you're going to need to get a better use out of the card? These are the choices that you have to make. Now, I'm not going to go through all 68 cards in the deck. I'm just going to go through the ones with the Adamant, because the rest are just ways to get land out and removal cards. You have 2 copies of Foreboding Fruit. You draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. You can make the opponent do this too, but you get to create a food token if you use 3 black to do it. Okay. Next up, Slaying Fire does 3 damage to any target for 3 mana. If the other 2 colorless mana, if you make them all red instead, it deals 4 damage instead of 3. 3 copies of Clockwork Servant to give us those extra creatures. When he enters the battlefield, if at least 3 mana of the same color is spent to cast it, you also get to draw a card. So this is part of why I don't mind going over the 60 card limit, because the card basically replaces itself. It doesn't matter what color you use as long as it's 3 of the same color. 2 copies of Henge Walker, same deal. If 3 mana of the same color is spent, he gets an extra +1 counter on him. Silver Flame Ritual to add a +1 counter on every creature. And if at least 3 mana, they get Vigilance until end of the turn. 1 copy of Turn into a Pumpkin to return the target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. And you get to draw a card. And if you spend at least 3 blue mana, you get a food token besides. Moving on down, we have Locthwain Paladin, which is a 3/2 knight with Menace. You pay the Adamant cost, that's 3 black mana. He gets an extra +1 counter on him, so he becomes a 4/3. We have Embereth Paladin for the red, 4/1 haster. If you spend 3 mana, he becomes 5/2 with haste. That's fun. 2 once and future cards. You can return a card from your graveyard to your hand. You put up to 1 other target card from your graveyard on top of your library, and then you exile this once and future card. If you spend at least 3 mana, instead of putting that second card on top of your library, you get both of the cards straight into your hand. 1 copy of Outmuscle. You put a +1 counter on a target creature, then it fights one you don't control. If you spend 3 green mana, the creature you control gains indestructible. So you can see the advantage that each one of these things is going to have. Since we only have 8 creatures, I put 3 of Cauldron's Gift in there. This is if you spend at least 3 black mana, you mill 4 cards, you choose a creature card in your graveyard, and you return it to the battlefield with an additional counter on it. Now, the key thing is the Adamant spell. Sometimes I don't want to pay this. Sometimes I've got a creature in my graveyard that I want back. I'll spend the 5 mana, but only 1 black, because I just want to get that creature back. I don't want to mill anything else out of my deck. But this is usually a card that's used heavy with big creature decks to throw a bunch of creatures intentionally into the graveyard with the intent of making sure you hit a good big one to bring back. In this case, I've only got 8. This is basically going to be used just to recover, so I'm actually not looking to spend the Adamant cost on this. Garenbrig Paladin. 5 cost to bring down a 4/4 knight. He's a giant knight, but the Adamant is if you spend at least 3 green, he gets the +1 counter to make him 5/5, and he can't be blocked with creatures with power 2 or less. And that is it. The rest is mostly lands and removal of some sort, or ways to draw more cards like Seagate Restoration, Ondu Inversion to destroy all permanents if things get out of control, individual things like Bloodchief's Thirst, Heartless Act, Banishing Light, things that you use to remove, or things that I might have to do like Lithoform Blight or Cleansing Wildfire to get rid of the wrong color card and get the right color mana onto play. Same path to the World Tree to call up a specific land. That kind of thing. Traveler's Amulet to bring another basic color that I need the right one to make that third one to give me the option to use the Adamant cost. Now, because we were limited in our choice of Adamant cards, I have a limited supply of those. I put every Adamant card that we have into this deck. So it shouldn't win that often, just because it's probably not going to be that good against mill decks because it's so dependent on having so much of the same type of land to maximize the card value. It's probably not going to do well against discard decks for the same reason. And it's probably not going to do well against the cheap aggro decks that kill you on turn 3 and turn 4. So we're going to demonstrate the ability to the best that we can as long as we stay alive. I don't actually have high hopes for winning a lot. With that said, we're going to take the deck out for a spin and have some fun. If you're having fun with us, hit the like and or the subscribe button. Here we go. Alright. We already look like we're in trouble. And we missed a land drop. So 1 point of damage isn't going to help us any. Let's go ahead and go get a black source, so we at least have a chance at some other stuff later. If there is a later for us. Okay. Do we want to do something? No. We'll take 1 point. We've got 18 more turns of accepting that kind of stuff. Ah, Fangbear. Now there's a different story. Okay. We don't have any Adamants yet that need 4 black. So we'll go ahead and do this. Even and odd. So let's start with this idea. If he wants to give us 2 poison counters, he can sacrifice Sniper first. And both of them have Death Touch. So he's well on his way to killing us, right? Well, no, because we have this. And we don't have Adamant for that. We don't have 3 of a kind for anything yet, but you notice we've got 3 of our Adamant spells. What we could do is we could do this. Make him pay if he wants anything other than green or red. Does he want another poison counter? No, he wants to keep his flyer. Okay, another one that was Adamant. We don't have 3 of a kind to do any of our Adamant spells yet, which is a problem. That's at instant speed though, so let's wait and see if he gets pumped up. If he gets pumped up, maybe we'll just throw him back up. Look at that. He's got... No, he doesn't have enough now. Okay. So you can go back up. See which one you want to put out first. And he's got a flyer, which is not good for us. So what we're hoping for is that he puts down the Oakham Ranger. And he doesn't. Is he going to put out the other guy? He is. Okay, excellent. We'll take it. Add a counter onto this while we can. Alright, now we can start using... First of all, we clear out the place. Okay, then we can't use Adamant, but we're really low on health, and we have poison counters, so... You want to trade off? That's fine by me. Hello! Okay, so I haven't even touched you yet. I've got 4 poison counters, I'm down to 4 life, and all I have out is 1 creature and a midnight clock. And after everything you put me through, I don't get to retaliate. You're just gonna leave. What kind of coward does that? Darcy E66. It's no fun at all. How am I supposed to demonstrate the rest of these Adamant spells when I finally got enough for a couple of them that I could have done it? Okay, our opponent is Balfi, which sounds like somebody who threw up some bad food, but I'm sure they're wonderful. Okay, we're going to scry, and do we want to take that particular land when we have 3 white already? No. We want to be able to use that possibly later on if we survive in the game, but things get looking bad for us. We want the option to destroy everything. With this, we've got 3 of the same color mana, so we get to bring our guy out, pay the Adamant cost, and get the full value. And that works out lovely. Now we have a couple of land choices to help us get our next Adamant value. This is a flyer, huh? Alright. We'll go ahead and attack while we can. We have intentionally made this deck difficult for us because we've got all 5 colors, and all 5 had Adamant cards, which means you need a way to get 3 the same color for each color. So we need 15 really, right? We don't need a full 15 because we do have a lot of dual cards. You destroyed my artifact. I always think when they play Presarii Command, almost always they choose to make a treasure. I always feel like they destroyed my artifact and made the treasure out of the remains of my artifact. Okay, we're getting a lot of green, and they all happen to be adamant. We don't have green yet. You know what we're going to do? We're going to start building on the green. In the meantime, we're not going to haste, or we're not going to adamant on him. We're just going to bring him down so that we can attack and put a little bit of pressure on them. I'm not too concerned about the removal at this point, because I'm not expecting exile that much. And as soon as we get black source, we can bring them back. Okay, so that kind of determines that this one's going to be the black source. We're having to make a lot of choices where we don't get the adamant value. This was kind of to be expected because we've got, again, if we had a green deck, if we had mostly green or maybe just two colors, green is one color and in any other color, we'd probably include these adamant cards. It's... Hello. What am I missing with the games this night? This should not be this easy. Okay, maybe there's something I don't know about the adamant cards, but we're flashing adamant cards and people are bailing on us. He had no problems ramping. He had exactly the same amount of lands available as I did. He could have used this at any time. And I didn't have a whole lot of creatures to deal with so far. I mean, we're basically almost at half my creature total right there. I don't feel like I should be winning as much as I'm winning, Balfi. But I guess we'll take the win. It would be nice if they'd hang around longer so that we could show off more of the cards. But away we go. I like this kind of start to the deck because it gives me a couple of removal spells, and I've got enough lands to use them. And I really need that kind of build-up time if I'm going to take advantage of the value for the adamant cost. So tap lands go down first. He's not going to do anything, which is wonderful. We're going to make him make a choice. You want to play a red card, it's going to cost you a life until you get another red source down. They might not have seen this card before. I seem to be the only one that uses this card in my Magic decks. I've got it in maybe 3 or 4 decks total out of a couple hundred. I think I'm up to. I've only seen it used once or twice against me the entire time. It's kind of a crapshoot, it's 50-50, but sometimes it can give them a little bit of growing pains if you remove one color for the first couple of turns. It doesn't do much against single color decks. Sometimes they're afraid to lose the life, so it'll delay them a turn or two. Won't necessarily decide the outcome of a game, but, you know, maybe. But that is a lot of time. If he's got a red card that he can spend I've made him very indecisive very quickly. But, you know, this is the third turn. It's one of the most critical turns of the entire game. And oh well. I can make this any color. I could have made it black, but black is actually the most prevalent land that I have. The black would let me get out the Clockwork Servant for the Adamant cost. I'm trying to hold off for a little bit. I seem to be able to for the moment. And part of what gives me that flexibility is having 3 different removal spells, all of which I can cast. I can cast for their cost. He did something. Wow. It didn't even cost him life. He's all tapped out, isn't he? I'm sorry you took so much time to think about that. Yes, that's what I wanted. We have the Adamant cost. We pay the Adamant cost. We get the full value of the card. We get to start working on our next mana source to bring out our next card at full value. And again, they scoop for the 3rd time when we put out a single Adamant card. Tell me how this makes any sense. I have reverse jinxed myself tonight. I introduced this whole deck by talking about how hard it was to get 3 color sources all the same, and then to get the next color source 3 of a kind all the same to put out your next card, take full value of the card. And instead, every time I put out a card that has Adamant on it, the opponent scoops. I haven't hurt you. You're still at full health. Where's everybody going tonight? Okay, I think, and this is the 2nd time in a row that the card that I did manage to get out was the Clockwork Servant. What is it about the Clockwork Servant that people find so fearsome? There must be some other information in their hand that their hand is not going the way it is. Let's see, Gigantomachiart? Alright. 3 wins in a row. We'll take it. Hey, maybe I'm onto something. Maybe this deck's better than I thought. And we are up against Evil Psycho Kitty. I have no idea how anybody expects us to win against Evil Psycho Kitty. Especially when they put out an Evil Psycho Kitty on their first turn. This is beautiful for a change. Their name matches the card style. Is this going to be an all-cat deck? That's the question. No, not all cats. Alright. We'll get the life back, I guess. We do need a black source to do anything right now. Ah, we have some kitties. More kitties. It's going to be well for these. We don't have any creatures in our hand yet. Okay, we could get the white source, but right now, black is the most populous land I have. I wish I already had some. They're not leaving me with much of a choice. Disgusting. Away with you. And away with you. We don't need Adamant, so it's not worth stressing over that one. We could do the job without the extra point of damage, so we do. This one is a sorcery that we need creatures for. So I'm not too keen on making sure that we get the right amount out. But this is one where maybe we use this card on ourselves. Seriously. The deck's Magic Sufferer is playing poker with us. The 3 cards that are least useful to us because we don't have creatures yet are the 3 cards they're going to give to me. This is because we won the first 3 rounds, right? we're getting lots of land and nothing to do. This shows you what happens when you win too much. It's just not allowed. Traveler's Amulet. Okay. We're done. We can't do anything with that. We got flooded out with land. Didn't we already face Darcy? Hello again, Darcy. We need to power our removal spells, and we need a creature for that removal spell to work, so we didn't have many options there. I rest my case. Probably should have chosen Fabled Passage to go choose a specific color card. Or specific colored land, I should say. But I was overwhelmingly distracted by my need to have a removal spell on hand that I could actually use. Okay. That is not exactly helpful. It would be nice to hit our land. They're not having trouble hitting their land. Thank you. Interesting choice. I guess you make do with what you got. And we do not got the right thing right now. Gross. Power this up quickly. Okay, we can power this up with 3 blues, so we'll go ahead and pay that. Get the card. That's good as far as it goes. We don't have enough to kill the bird. Interesting choice. Again, that may be all they have. We'll use what we have. Ta-da! We like that card. Put that down for later. Attack just to get him back down to 20. Okay, so what do we do here? We need a black source. But we already messed it up, right? Because we put down our land. So let's do that. We're going to target our own land. We're going to go get the swamp now. That's all we're going to do. I think I messed this up because the midnight clock's going to strike in. So if I don't get the Extinction Event back, it won't help us at all, will it? Okay, so I messed up on that. Let's go get a new hand right now. That'll work. Okay. Do I need to worry about using the Mystic Amulet to get anything specific out? Not really, because... Too bad, I would have liked to use another Seagate Restoration. But the overall mind-numbing thing that we have to do is... we have to destroy everything. Can I attack? No, I can't attack first. Okay. You committed all of your stuff. So we'll just do that. You had another one. You little stinker, you. Okay. 5, 6, 7. We can do this. And we can still do this. At least she's not scooping like last time. Running through our lands, which is perfectly acceptable. That's enough. Alright. At least 3 black. We need another black source, don't we? I did not put that down. Okay, so let's just pay Adamant for this. Get our card. Okay. Yeah, that's it. We're being patient. We're letting them top deck. Seeing what kinds of stuff they have. Okay. Now, pay Adamant. Pay another Adamant. Go ahead and get our life back. Gunda. Do I have black source anywhere? No, I do not. I have to wait on that. Get a life! Oh, I can do this. Hit you, get a bear, draw some cards. Life is good. Don't want to use that just yet. Okay, we're good to wait again. Pupil, huh? I don't have to wait on that now. I'll just use you. Yaha! Green sources, green sources. Adamant! Attack! Do I have my black sources? I do. Do I have my white sources? I do. Life is good. Tell me, Darcy, have you noticed the adamant pattern? Have I been adamant enough with you? You've got one card. How hard is it to decide? Are you going to rope me, Darcy? You quit too early last time. I actually appreciate you hanging in because how many of these adamant cards was I able to play now? We got in 1, 2, 3, although they were the same type, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got to play 7 adamant cards because you hung in there. So thank you. I've got a couple more if you hang around another turn. Being able to save that rally for the throne when I had all of these guys down really made it seem like it wasn't as close of a battle as it was for quite a while. Well, Darcy seems to be roping. So I guess we'll take the win. But you can see we had the mana. Once we had the right mana, everything clicked into place and the deck worked really well. No matter what type of card it was, whether it was a creature card, whether it was an instant. When the deck clicks, it actually clicks pretty well. Wave goodbye, bear. Go ahead and eat. I always have to wonder how good my snowball microphone is, if it's picking up the grumblings of my stomach because I haven't eaten yet. The bear's been patient this whole time. We'll just start gorging him now. As we wait and decide, are you actually going to do anything, Darcy? Darcy kind of turned into a poor sport at the end there, didn't she? Went from scooping early the first round to hanging out and letting us practice on her to stalling. So again, I should preface this by saying this wasn't the most ideal deck. It wasn't balanced quite properly the way that most decks should be, but I did have a good number of removals in there to try and help us survive long enough to play the Adamant cards. And you can see, even though they're kind of designed for different decks and for different uses, we were able to combine them to quite devastating effect a couple times tonight. And we'll leave it there. Darcy may not have liked this, but I did. Hopefully you do too. So if you do, hit like and tune in tomorrow, because it's going to be a special day. It'll be day 31. We're not going to cover a mechanic. We're going to have a digital opening. Let me show you what I mean by that real quick before you go away. I'm a hoarder, and part of the artificial limitation this account has been working on, it's the only Magic Arena account I have. We've been free to play the whole time. We haven't spent any money, although we have spent money on physical magical cards, and we got a couple of digital codes to put in. But when you go to our packs, we've got, I want to say, 80 packs we have not opened yet. We've got Call Time, Strixhaven, and Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. So we're going to go live on Twitch for the 31st, and we're going to do a digital unwrapping of all of them. I'm going to have my son with me. It's going to be awesome. We'll try and record it and post it on YouTube later. But y'all are invited to go find Tpull on Twitch, and it should be a fun time had by all. And if I can get my crack editing team, we'll go ahead and paste the Twitch link here on this video to help you out. But mark your times and channels and join us for opening up all these packs. There should be tons of new cards for us, and we're just going to celebrate successfully putting out 30 videos over 30 days, each based on a different mechanic, each on a brand new deck that we designed to help out the new players of the game. And we hope you've been enjoying it and having as much fun as we've been in order to bring it to you. So, this is Travis from Tpull's Corner, saying have a good one.